The atmosphere on board the Terran flagship was much different from my previous visit. The commander left me in a meeting room with 2 armed guards while he spoke with Terran intelligence about Ula's treachery. He claimed it was for my protection, but judging by their demeanor, that wasn't exactly the truth. The duo watched me with suspicious eyes the entire time, never cracking a smile or saying a word. Thankfully, Rykov wasn't gone for long. I couldn't help but notice his face was creased with worry when he returned. Whatever he had just learned, I had a feeling it wasn't good news.
You're back. Did they say what they're going to do about the sabotage?
I asked. The commander sighed. Earth has bigger problems to deal with, apparently. My antennae twitched in confusion.
What could be bigger than treason? They have to do something about the speaker.
They agreed that something has to be done, but she's on their radar for other reasons, he replied. She's been encouraging acts of violence against our civilians. There's been enough incidents the past few days that Earth has closed its spaceports. We can't risk a terror attack on our soil. I figured the phrase must be some Terran military jargon I was unfamiliar with.
What does that mean?
Commander Rykov's eyes widened. You don't, well, it's a form of violence against civilians. Mass casualty events that are planned, done publicly, and meant to frighten a certain group of people. The fact that the Terrans had a term designated for such an attack implied that they occurred with some regularity. I shuddered at the notion of civilians slaughtered in broad daylight for the sole purpose of cruelty. For all the wars the Jotari fought in our early years, the violence was never so senseless. Yet the commander spoke of these terror attacks as though they were just something that happened, like a natural disaster. Why are you looking at me like that? Rykov scowled, crossing his arms. Don't you dare act like that stuff never happens in the Federation. I shifted awkwardly. Well, it doesn't. That's not how I see it. You know our embassy in the Federation capital? He paused, waiting for my nod. Demonstrators stormed it, took the diplomats hostage. Now they're holed up inside, threatening to blow the place to high heavens if we make a move.
Why would they do that? Humans have been nothing but kind to us. There is no reason for bloodshed.
Try telling that to them. The way I see it, they're terrorists, and that's still the subject of debate back home. We should be taking the embassy back, not trying to negotiate with these people. They won't even talk to anyone that's human. I could sense that there was something Rykov wasn't telling me. He cared for the people under his command, and for the preservation of life in general, but never to the point where you could hear it in his voice. If this mission was personal to him, I needed to know why. He was a competent commander, but nothing could cloud one's judgment like emotions.
I don't mean to pry, but
I placed a hand on his shoulder and noticed the guards tense up at the contact.
Do you know someone there?
Was it that obvious?
Yeah.
My brother lives at the embassy. He works for the State Department, Rykov replied. I frowned.
Maybe we can help somehow. What are your orders?
Well, first they were to return to Earth with the refugees. I asked to join with the tactical team outside the embassy, but was told, and I quote, "You're too close to this." The bigwigs really expected me to sit this one out?
Orders are orders. We'll have to think of a plan after you get home.
2 steps ahead of you, General. I said that you offered to help, and that you asked me to escort you to the embassy. It would be an insult to the Jotari if I refused. And what do you know? Permission was granted.
You lied to your superiors.
My brother's life's on the line. I didn't lie. I just stretched the truth.
That is the definition of lying.
Not the point. Anyhow, the flagship will set off for the capital immediately, and the other ships will bring the refugees back to Earth. I won't force you to go, but I would appreciate your help. Will you join us? There was no question that I should accompany the commander. It went beyond owing him my life or considering him a friend. After the Speaker's betrayal and the Federation's abandonment, the humans needed to see that they still had allies. They needed to know they were not alone.
Of course. It's the least I can do,
I answered. Rykov smiled. Excellent. Let's head over to the bridge and we'll warp out. The guards were at my side in a heartbeat, pushing me forward like I was some sort of cattle. My patience for the prisoner treatment was growing thin. I was keen on aiding the humans, but not at the expense of my dignity. I did my best to imitate Rykov's arms crossed pose, glaring at the one on the right.
Hands off. I'm taken.
The man's burly figure was intimidating, and I had no doubt that he could pound me to a pulp in a scuffle. I knew my rebuke might only lead to rougher treatment down the lines, but I met his eyes anyway. I expected an irritated look on his face, but instead I saw the hint of a smirk playing on his lips. You managed to make Max smile, General. Even I can't do that, the commander chuckled. Max snorted.
That's because you're not funny.
Hey, watch yourself now. Rykov's tone was light and playful, so I doubted his warning was serious. The General's right, though. He is quite capable of walking on his own. Mac nodded, stepping back. His partner followed suit, dropping off a few paces behind us. My thoughts drifted as we passed through the narrow corridors to the bridge. I wish the commander would have dismissed the guards altogether, but I'd settle for having them out of my personal space. If the humans still didn't trust me, that was their problem. You look upset. I'm sorry, it's actually not you, Rykov said. I have round-the-clock security now. An anti-human extremist group put a 1,000,000 credit bounty on my head. My stride faltered as shock sailed through my veins. What? Why you? He sighed. Because I'm the one who fired the nanite bomb. We fell into a comfortable silence as we entered the bridge. My mind was still reeling from the latest revelation. If there was a 1,000,000 credit bounty out on me, I wouldn't trust my own crew not to take me out. For the commander to wander about his ship at all, he must possess unwavering faith in his men's loyalty. On my last visit to the flagship, the bridge had been swept up in a chaotic flurry of activity and chatter, at least before Rykov called them to attention. But today, the crewmates were already waiting at their posts, and the course was already plotted into the computer. Seeing the somber expressions around me, I feared the past few days had sapped the human spirit. All right, it looks like we're ready. Course is already input for the capital system. Rykov nodded with satisfaction. Engage warp drive. My stomach lurched as the ship slipped into hyperspace. Even after years of experience with FTL travel, the nausea never went away. Memories of newly enlisted Federation soldiers puking their guts out floated through my mind, and I laughed to myself. The commander glanced up from his holomap, likely confused what there was to be amused about at a time like this. Before he could ask what I found so funny, a stern voice crackled over the emergency frequency. Turn back at once. Unauthorized Terran ships are prohibited from entry to Federation space until further notice. Rykov frowned, pressing a few buttons on his display. Since when? You do realize we're a member of the Federation, so I don't see how we can be denied access to Federation space. It halted interplanetary flights earlier today, and the Senate passed a temporary freeze on Terran visitors in response, came the reply. For all we know, you shut down your spaceports because you're planning an attack. That's ridiculous, Rykov protested. Look, we're here on a rescue mission. We're going to dock, and you're not going to get in our way. You are trespassing in this system. If you enter real space, you will be fired upon. What's that? You're breaking up. I can't hear you. The commander ended the transmission, shaking his head in disgust. Idiots. Raise shields to full power and enter real space. I felt the ship shudder beneath my feet as it emerged from hyperspace, and my expressions morphed into one of terror.
No, you must turn back. The planetary defense systems will shoot you down.
I'd like to see them try, Rykov growled. Well, this was just wonderful. It seemed Speaker Ula might be getting her wish for a war with the humans after all.